Good afternoon, everyone. It's Eric here from African Art Talks with Eric, and I'm so excited to come your way this afternoon. So this afternoon's program is going to be something different. As I always say, we actually strive to bring you the best in African art, and I'm so excited to come your way. If you can see behind me, let me turn it around so that you can see it properly. I'm currently doing a painting of T'Challa, Chadwick Boseman, as a tribute to him. And I've just looked at the three characters of Chadwick. Him as a person, as in Chadwick Boseman, but then dressed in the regalia of T'Challa, and then him looking up to heaven. The explanation I'll give to that is that it looked as if he knew that his death was coming. In one of the pictures floating on social media, which I picked up as a reference picture for this, he is actually looking up into the sky, looking up to heaven. Even though he is human, he also knows that he's got cancer. He knows that one day he'll be called up back to heaven. And then, in spite of that fact, he still gathered the courage, he gathered the strength, even though he knew that in 2016, he actually went through doing about 4 different movies, one of which being the Black Panther, one movie that really exposed his strengths and changed the course in the film industry. So T'Challa is somebody that I follow and I have great respect for. Name being Chadwick Boseman, I have great respect for. So that's the painting that I'm currently working on. I haven't finished it yet. So in time to come, I'll be showing you the finished product. But hey, today is all about African art. It's all about African art. So today's guest that I've got with me today is somebody that I've known on Facebook for a very long time. We went to the same secondary school together. Even though I was a senior to him, we all call ourselves seniors. So during the show, if I come over and I call him senior, then you know what it's all about. He is a fellow mate of mine at Prempeh College in Ghana, Kumasi to be precise. And we call ourselves senior regardless of when you completed the school or when you entered the school. But he caught my attention because he's a great artist, and he's also interested in changing the mindset of our people with regard to creativity. And he actually has started from the children. He's actually investing his talent or his creativity in teaching children how to think. And we are changing the whole paradigm of what creativity should be in industry or should be in society. So that is why I've chosen him to interview him today. I'll be, as usual, educating us on the Dikra symbols, but I thought you should know. Do me a favor and invite all your friends, invite all your loved ones to come and watch this show, because you never know, it will change something in your mindset to do with creativity. Whether you love art or not, whether you are into creativity or not, just tune in and listen to us, and you never know what will change in your mind, because creativity is really what builds nations. So I'm going to turn on the music back on, but do share this video, do invite your friends, whilst I share and invite my friends right now as well. Hey, welcome back to the show. So have you shared the video yet? If not, I entreat you right now to share the video and invite your friends so that we have a great time. But also make sure that you invite your friends to join this. And if you have any comment at all, type your comments, because it's being streamed on YouTube and it's being streamed on Facebook as well. My profile page and my artist page. So do well to share it across. Make sure that everyone gets to come and listen to us as we talk about African art. But how's been your day? I hope you've had a great day. London is well. London is great. Weather is changing a little bit. It's getting a bit cold these days. But all the same is good. It's not too cold. So hopefully you should also be having a good weather wherever you are. And I thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. The person that I've got today, I will introduce later. But today, I want us to also pick up another Adinkra symbol and talk about it. You know, we've been doing a lot of education on the Adinkra symbol. And the Adinkra symbol is something that the king of Adinkra, back in those days, the king of one of the Ashanti kingdoms, actually designed way back in the 18th century. Way back in the 19th, as you say, 19th century. His name was called King Adinkra. King Adinkra. So from 1810 to 1820, King Nana Kojo Ajiman Adinkra actually created these symbols. And as time has grown, a few more has been added, and we've got about 146 of them. So we'll be going through each one of them as the weeks go by, and I'm more than happy to explain what each one of them means. Some of them have got proverbial and meanings to them. So we are going to study about them today. And the one that I've picked up for us to learn about is this one. This symbol is called Adinkra Dua. Now, Adinkra is the symbol. Hene is called ken, and Dua is like a tree. But when you combine it, the English translation of it means Adinkra Ken's stamp. Adinkra Ken's stamp. Now, it talks about the majesty of kinship. It talks about the greatness of kinship. It talks about the power that our kings have got. So, authority as well in society. So, when you look at this symbol on the left, it's very symmetrical in all its ways. It shows us that we are dynamic in our judgment as Ashantis or the Black race. We are very dynamic in our thinking. We've got authority, we've got power, and everything else that comes with it. So wherever you see this symbol, know that it is called Adinkra Dua. Adinkra Dua, which is the Adinkra Ken stamp. That is what it's about. So this is what we have for today's education. And once again, welcome to the show, everyone that's joined. Let me go to Facebook and welcome my friends who've joined, friends and family who've joined, and let's make sure that we also invite others to come and be a part of this. So Atomaika says, oh, love the Chadwick painting. Oh, thanks, Ato. Hope you're doing well. Chuke Abroka is watching me live as well. Thank you, seniors, for watching me live today. And we've got 4 more people watching as well. A few comments did come through, and I'm going to start pinning some comments. So Gabriel Insia is watching all the way from Maryland in the USA. He says cool here too. Oh, so Gabriel is cool there as well. I can imagine. Gabriel says that he loves these symbols for batiks. Definitely yes. I remember when I was in Ghana back in those days, I loved batiks, and I used to even produce some of them. Hey, Graciela, how you doing? He says, thank you, Eric. Graciela, I hope you're doing well. Do comment, ask questions, because I want us to be interactive in what we're doing as well. And I've got my own wife, Marie, very supportive of me and what I'm doing. Marie, hope you're doing well as well. Marie says, me too, I dare here. So do a watch party right now. Graciela says she's watching from Maryland. That's great. We visited Graciela in Maryland in 2018 and we really enjoyed it. Right, so let's move on. Let's move on to today's topic. And today's guest, he's somebody whose artworks inspire me a lot. He's somebody that I've been following for a very long time on Facebook. And coincidentally, we went to the same college back in Ghana, the great Prempeh College. So when you hear me call him senior, it's not that he's older than me or anything. Or if you hear him calling me senior, it's not because I'm older than him. But this is a term that we use. We actually identify ourselves as seniors. So I'm going to invite this guest of mine, but he inspires me a lot in the sense that he educates children in the area of creativity. And this is something that really touches my heart and I'm passionate about. His name is Kwame Owusu-Sarpong. He's a visual artist, he's a sculptor, he's a teacher, he's got all sorts, he's a painter. And I'm going to bring him right on screen right now. So let's all give him a round of applause when he joins the screen. Hey, Kwame, how you doing? I'm going to just unmute you so they can say hello. How are you?
Hello.
Finally, I get to speak to Kwame. How are you?
Senior, I'm doing well.
Great. So you heard it well, Senior?
Yeah.
Give them a little bit of a background in why do we say senior to each other?
Okay, so we at Prempeh College believe that any other school in Kumasi is junior to us. And for everyone who goes to Prempeh believes that he's going to be a senior over every other school in Kumasi or even in Ghana. So basically, that's the reason. But it's also a gesture of respect to each other whenever we meet around. Yeah.
I second you on that one.
Sure.
Normally, regardless of your age, regardless of when you finished school, we all call ourselves senior as a gesture of respect to each other.
Yeah.
So that when we meet like this, we flow. We don't actually use our seniority to belittle each other. We are all the same, and that is why we call ourselves senior. So you'll be hearing that a lot here. But I'm so glad to have you on this show in the sense that we share a common agenda in empowering children and starting creativity from a very early age. So thank you for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Great. We've got a few comments and people are so happy to see you as well. People have joined in from Maryland, USA, a lot from the UK, a lot from Ghana as well. And we know that a lot more people will join. Great. So let's hit the ball rolling. Can you tell us a bit more about who you are? So let's say I meet you and I say, oh, who is Kwame? Who are you?
Kwame is an artist, an art educator, and I love children and their art that they do. So a little about my educational background, like what Senior Eric said, I started visual arts in Prempeh College. Then after Prempeh College, I wanted to further up my studies in art, in fine arts. But then a professor from University of Education advised me to go to Winneba so that I can have a taste of education plus the visual arts that I do, because he saw me as a natural talent and I would develop within any environment that I find myself. And so I listened to him and then I went to Winneba. And there I enjoyed my studies as an educator of the visual arts. So from Winneba, I started off in a company called Touch of Bronze Ghana Limited, where we work as sculptors. We basically work in the medium called bronze. So we make statues all over Ghana. And I enjoyed that time. That was around 2015. Then I decided that since I've had a hands-on experience with the art, I would further explore my passion for education, as in to teach the young ones. So lo and behold, my first school that I taught in was Accra Academy. That was a GES curriculum. Then from there, I went to GIS, Ghana International School, to study as a teaching assistant, to work in a different international curriculum known as the IGSCE. So that's the A-levels, O-levels arts. Now, as I speak with you, I work with Tema International School and on a very different curriculum as well. This is the IB, the International Baccalaureate. So this is Kwame. I'm the founder of the Child Arts Foundation in Ghana, and I love to celebrate the passion and to promote art using the kids or the children or the child in Ghana as a case study. Thank you very much.
I love that. I love that. I mean, you are versatile. And one thing I love about you is that I always see you with children. And as the Bible say, you know, if you want to learn anything, go back to the children and learn from them. The children are free. They are creative. There's nothing that limits them. They can do all things they believe. You know, nothing limits them because they've not gone through what we adults have gone through and have blocked our minds. So they are the best people to tell us about creativity. And I hope today we'll get a chance to interact with the children. Is that the case?
Exactly. They are all around me today as I speak with you.
Oh my goodness. We're going to have fun today.
Having a live session here at the Swallows catering services.
Right.
And it's a very big deal because there's a painting session, a graffiti on a wall, and kids are having fun with colors. And I love to see this and share this with the world.
So guys, if you're watching us right now, we're going to have a live session with children in Ghana. And this is the first time I'm doing this on my show where we are actually going live to see children in Ghana paint. So call everyone in, invite all your friends, let them come to watch how we actually impact our society with creativity. So I'm so honored to have you on today. And thank you for inviting the kids on as well, as we'll be seeing at some point. But for now, let's talk about you as a person. Right. So from Prempeh College, what inspired you in Prempeh that made you want to actually teach art for life or be an artist for life?
Wow. My stay in Prempeh College was, I should say, experimental. At that stage, I was just experimenting with basically clay and colors in the visual arts classroom as an art student.
Okay.
You know? One thing about me is that my seniors, as in
those before you,
before me, and then my juniors were all looking up to me at that time. Whenever I do something in clay, they loved it. My mates, they were really a tool, basically, for my inspiration. Because whenever I do something in clay, they appreciate it and they call me names, a sculptor. And I used to always keep clay in my chobos.
We had our shato in there. You had clay.
Exactly. I would always have clay in my chobos, and I was always at the art studio, the art studio where even at night. And so I'll come with clay over me, and then I'm so let's say tired, and I just sleep. So it was all around me at that time, and I really enjoyed what my teachers were doing at that time, and got inspired from there.
That is great. That is fantastic. I mean, same here. When I was in Prempeh College, the best place you find me in was the art studio because there was that freedom. I'm not sure whether you still had Mr. Edu teaching art or Mr. Osei teaching art, because those were my teachers and I really held them in high esteem.
Yeah, Mr. Osei was my teacher too. Mr. Osei, yes, he was the headmaster for Agri House.
That's right.
I guess.
That's right.
Yeah, Mr. Osei.
Good. Right. We'll speak back door and I'll get his details. I really want to get in touch with him.
Exactly. Sure.
Lovely. So did you really face any challenges growing up? And you know, back in the days, our parents wanted us to follow this traditional kind of career, be either a doctor, a lawyer, engineer. You know, those set careers, traditional subjects.
Exactly. The white collar jobs. Well, yeah.
That's right.
The point is this: for me, when I was in JHS, my teachers had already spotted the talent. And so I was the one that would draw on the board when we are having biology, for instance, in science, and chemistry, the diagrams and all that. I was the one doing it. And so I was also very much involved in pre-technical skills at that time in JHS. So my teachers knew this. And my mom told me that I can go to school and do whatever I want. So far as I love it, she's in support.
That is very encouraging.
When I completed JHS, my teachers told her that one thing that I'm very good at is visual arts. And
Right.
so whatever school that I should choose, visual arts should be my subject, and I did that.
That is very encouraging.
I didn't really have any setback actually with regards to doing visual arts as a lifetime profession. Yeah.
So you knew exactly what you wanted to do and you went in for it. That's really good.
Sure.
That is really good. I mean, some of us, we had to take different routes, but at all times our mind was on the art, because when you have that calling or a gift, wherever you are, your mind will always draw you back to that thing. So some of us went through different routes, but as I'm sitting here, everything of mine is to do with art. So it's good that you had that focus and you actually went for it. But what will you tell people like those of us, the young ones, who are facing career decisions? What will you tell them at this stage?
Well, what I believe in is that to advocate for a particular subject or career and force your kids to have it at all costs is something that will by all means catch up with him or her doing life, because we are all born with specific abilities and levels in life. And so it is better for us to rather encourage the young ones to work in line with ability rather than forcing them to a particular subject or career which they are not really inclined to. And as a matter of fact, that in general will get also to catch up with the development of Ghana, because if you push someone who is an artist, for instance, into the medical field and he's not doing well, it means the economy and then the development suffers as a result of it. Yeah,
that's very well put, because I've not looked at it from that perspective. Whereby if you pour somebody into a career that they are not passionate about, they will not give their 100%, of course, and therefore that industry suffers. And therefore, I think Ghanaians should look at creativity now. Ghanaians as well as Africans should look at creativity as something that's quite fundamental to national development. Not just somebody sitting in the corner drawing, but it's a whole ecosystem of people going into where they are passionate at to excel in those areas, rather than our guardians forcing us into things that probably they wanted to do and couldn't achieve. So if we allow us to explore our strengths, then the whole ecosystem, because you have somebody who is also really good at medicine and they'll go into that field. So I think that what you said really makes sense. Great. So if there's a bit of a delay, it's because we are in the UK, Kwame's in Ghana, bit of a transmission there. But hopefully this program should go on as usual with no hiccups. But I'm going to dive straight into what you do as an artist. You've got personal paintings that you do, and I'm going to show a few on the screens so that we can talk about the work that you do to the world. So the first one is this piece that you've got over there. As I said, you are an artist. And you are also a sculptor. You are also a teacher. You are an educationist. So you do several things, but all in the creative field. Can you tell us a bit about what I've shown on screen? You've got two paintings and a sculptor in front of it. What are these pieces?
Okay, so I believe you can hear me, Senior.
We can. Yes, I can.
Sure.
Yes.
So the sculpture you see over there was a piece of work that I did for a client. It was supposed to be cast in bronze and to be sent to him. And so that was me working in my studio at that time. And the paintings that you see are also some works that I was working on. At this stage, it wasn't entirely completed, but I was working on something for the Leukemia Foundation here in Ghana.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's turned out really well. And I like the fact that they are young girls, but dressed traditionally. Why did you choose these subjects?
Okay, so the title for that foundation's competition at that time was Cells in Color. Cells in Color. And so I wanted to use a bit of the Ghanaian society. And so I chose the Krobo people of Ghana. I got some pictures from them, and I wanted to let my paints resemble pieces of cells in the human anatomy. And so that's why you see those brush strokes here and there, and then also why you see them in that traditional Ghanaian regalia.
That is beautiful. I mean, you've represented it really well and quite bold as well. Thank you for representing our culture in that way. I'm going to show the second piece of what you do, and I've got two pieces here. So the first one is one of the ladies that we're seeing, but on the right-hand side, we've got the proper sculpture, and that's one thing that I've not been able to do. I've not tried it before. How difficult is it sculpturing a person? Well, in this sense, it's not just a 2D thing; it's a 3-dimensional thing. So how do you achieve it?
Yeah. So the differences with the 2D and then the 3D is that for the 2D you just need one reference picture, but for the 3D you need reference pictures from all around or all 4 viewpoints, being the side view, the back view, the 3/4 view, and all that. And you are supposed to combine all of them in the language that you want to speak, being a sculptor.
Wow.
So that's one aspect of it. Secondly, it has a lot to do with improvisation. You will always think about trying to make your own tool or make your own solution to a specific kind of problem. Yeah. Thirdly, I can also talk about the fact that you have the weight of the work to deal with. And so if you have a life-size sculpture, a colossal size sculpture, then the weight of the work, you can actually decide to be a leader of a team of artists. So that what that means is you don't do it alone or by yourself, because you'll be lifting it here and there and all that. So sculpture is much more, let's say, challenging if you want to compare it to painting. Yeah.
Right. So the sculpture on the right-hand side, is that another commission as well?
Yeah. That was one that I had to put in front of a hotel at Abetifi at Kwewu, Ghana.
That's amazing. I mean, you're a man of great talents, and I like the fact that you have dabbled in the different creative areas. You've not just stuck to one creative form, but you've done painting, you've done sculpting, you've done the actual teaching of the subject itself as well, which is great. Let's move on to more of your sculptures that you do, and I think these ones are more flatter. They are of a different type. What do you call this type?
Yeah, this is a relief work. It's the other one is in the round, because you can actually view it from all angles of the work. But you can only view it from the front view, and it's meant for the wall, and so we call it relief. The one on the left-hand side was made for PBC Ghana. At that time, when I was working with the Touch of Bronze Ghana Limited, we did that work, or I did that work, so we can present it to the PBC, the Ghana Products Buying Company, who are in charge of our cocoa industry. And so that was a woman plucking out some cocoa, and that's it, basically the story. Then the other side, on the right-hand side, belonged to a bishop in the Catholic Church. I did this to remind him of the death of Jesus Christ, and it was in a series, what we call the 14 Stations of the Cross. Yeah, yes. So in terms of material, the one on my left, which is the woman plugging out the cocoa, that has to do with bronze and aluminium and copper. But then the one on my right side is actually made in cement, and I sprayed it or gave it that bronze touch.
That bronze feel.
Yeah.
Right. So let's talk about the one on the right-hand side where you used metallic material to achieve what you wanted to achieve. I want our viewers to be able to get into your mind to understand the difficulty, the complexity of producing such things, because we all know that metal is quite difficult to deal with. To shape it to get all these effects, how did you actually go about it?
Okay, so the process starts with clay. It starts with clay. I
Okay.
made this work first in clay. So I modeled it using a picture that I had drawn myself. So
Right.
I used clay to finish all that you are seeing.
That's
Then
amazing.
I made a mold out of the clay using POP
Okay.
and silicone rubber. Because I
All right.
wanted to get all the intrinsic details,
Shape of it.
I had applied that silicone rubber first to cover all the work. Then I poured POP to serve as a case of the work, so that you know how malleable the silicone rubber is. The
That
POP
is,
is
yes,
supposed
it's
to
quite
hold
round,
it
yes.
in place. Yes.
Yeah.
So after that,
Yeah.
I mixed. This is actually made in metal, but this process is called cold cast. It's not a
Okay.
foundry cast. It's not a hot metal. It's cold. So you have to get your metal powder with
That's right.
your hardener, the catalyst, and then
Yes.
resin. So you mix the resin with the metal powder and then the catalyst, which is the hardener. Then you pour it into the mold. So we should all cast our minds into the process of making ice from the refrigerator.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
When
yeah. I
you want
remember.
to make an ice block, okay,
Yeah.
you should have a container.
Mm-hmm.
You put it in the fridge, you pour water into it, and you put it in the fridge. Then when you bring it out and you remove the ice, it will have the shape of the container.
That's correct.
So that is exactly the process for this very work. So the mold is a container here, and then I mix that aluminium and silicone, aluminium resin and hardener. Then I pour it into the container, which is my mold. So when
Okay.
it hardens and I remove it, it is going to take the place of the clay
That's
that I
it.
first made. So that's
Yeah.
basically the story behind the process of this piece.
And I think you've technically explained it really well. I just wanted us to be a bit more technical, which you've done. And you've explained it really, really well. The aspect that I wanted to understand is how did you separate, let's say, the copper from the bronze or whatever material that you used? Did you spray them afterwards?
No. Or what I can say is this. When I was explaining the technique,
Yeah.
I did got you to a point.
Right.
That's the first stage. Now, after I take out my aluminium piece, I
Right.
chase it, make it so smooth. Then I
Okay.
make another mold, which is called master mold.
Right.
That will be the final mold that I'll do, or I'll cast this finished work from. So
All
in the
right.
master mold, that is where I segregate the types of metals that I'm using.
Okay.
So for instance, when I get to the shirt portion or the dress portion of the woman, I
Yes.
just put aluminium in there.
Right.
For
Right.
the face and then the hand, I put bronze in there.
That's it.
Right? Then for the cocoa, I mixed the aluminium with bronze and copper, and the
All right.
baskets the same. When I
Okay.
finish and when the first coat has dried, I then fill the entire container.
Yes.
Yeah, I believe you have the picture now.
That's right.
Yeah. And so when it also dries and I remove it, that is when I get this finished piece.
Amazing, amazing job. I mean, I like the fact that you've gone into that level of details just for people to appreciate what it takes to achieve the beautiful piece that we saw on screen. It doesn't just happen. People actually go through lengths of pain to achieve the beauty that you see on screen. So kids that want to enter into this space, or even adults who want to have a career change, because in this era of the pandemic or COVID-19, a lot of people have lost their jobs and people are looking into getting into other areas of life, other talents that they thought they didn't have, but it's right there. Now, I want you to just have a feel of what he goes through to achieve the beauty that you saw over there. That is why I made him go into that length of technical details. So yeah, thank you for doing that as well. Now,
thank you.
In achieving all these castings and going into other forms of, let's say, creativity, do you do it alongside your painting, or do you just neglect your painting and focus on this?
No, I always have the two aspects of art in one studio.
That's amazing.
And so, like for instance, the first pictures that you saw would attest to the fact that I have the sculpture right in the studio alongside the painting. So I do it here and there, and in the same space.
No, it's great. I just mentioned COVID-19, and I know that you've got some paintings that you did during COVID-19. I'll show them at some point. But how have you been dealing with the pandemic in itself? Since it happened around, I think it was about March, and it still hasn't gone yet, but there was a time of proper lockdown across the whole world. How did you psychologically deal with it as an artist, and how were you able to produce in that season?
Yeah, I felt green and blue at the same time. I was so cold in my quarantine,
creating
in my studio.
Yes.
And I felt a little bit of mixed color palette alongside green and blue. I knew that.
So Kwame has frozen there, but he was telling us that during the pandemic, he felt cold and green. But I'm going to show some of his artworks that would show you exactly what he means by he went cold and green. And then when he comes back, he will continue explaining what each of the piece mean. But before I bring that on, I'm going to talk about how I dealt with the pandemic. And we haven't finished it. We're still in it. But at the most intense time, we were all at home. And what I did was that every single day, I took a piece of, let's say, an inspiration, whether a picture that I saw or something that I imagined in my mind. And I sketched every single day. I'm going to show you some of the things that I did in my art book. That's my sketchbook over here. And every single day, I had a sketch. That's one of them. So in my sketchbook, all I'm doing is just sketching every day. That's one of them. That's another painting. Let's look at this one first. That is a sketch that I did every single day. Let's try this one. That's another one that I did every day. So every day for 30 minutes from about 10 o'clock in the evening, I will be just sketching something. And I wanted it to be more African than anything. So these are sketches that I did every day, that one day I'll turn them into beautiful paintings. And it went on and on and on and on. Let's see this one, for instance. Have a look at that. And that one, that's a can blower. This is a tribute I did for Hugh Masekela. Yeah. So the message here is that as an artist, nothing should stop you from creating. Keep yourself busy. Just create. That is where you sharpen your skill set. So every single day, find yourself something to do. Either sculpt, if you know how to sculpt, or even pick up knitting as a subject and just knit your life away. This is how you become an expert in your field. So when it comes to the sketching, I continually did sketching to improve my hand-eye coordination, to help me be a better artist. So that when it comes to painting, let's say things like these paintings, like the Chadwick Boseman behind me, I would get the proportions right, and I would know where to put features properly so that it will be scaled in the manner that I want. But hey, let's go back to Kwame, and Kwame would be joining us very shortly. But I'm going to show the work that he produced during the lockdown, and these are paintings that he did, and they're beautiful. He depicted people in masks, children especially in masks. And when he comes back to the screen, I'll be asking him why the masks are transparent. Can you observe that? Can you notice it? The masks are transparent. So I'll be asking him why the mask is transparent. But I love his representation, his rendition of it, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Let's use this time as we wait for Kwame to invite more people to come and join the show. Let's use this time to also comment and ask questions to the artist on what you think of them and what questions you have with regards to the teaching of art in general, or art as a subject area in Africa. Let's do that together. So I'm going to just invite a few more people to come in whilst we wait for Kwame to rejoin. Hey, welcome back. So as I was saying, we're still waiting for Kwame to join us, but I was displaying some of his paintings over there. Let's see whether I can get hold of him right now on the phone, just to make sure that everything is okay. My privacy was set earlier on to just my friends. I've now changed it. Thanks to Kumasi Nyame. Kumasi Nyame, thank you so much for bringing it to my attention that the video was set to friends only. I've now changed it. It's now public, and therefore keep inviting people to come and listen to this great artist so that we can all enjoy his creativity. So let me call him right now. Internet in Ghana sometimes plays up, but let's make sure he's okay. So hold on a minute whilst I call him.
Hello, Eric.
Hi, how you doing? Great. Okay. So once you do, we'll go and have a look at the children. I can't wait to see them. All right then. Okay, great. Lovely. That would be great. Okay then. So I can't wait to see you back on screen. Great. Right. So that was him. His internet played up, but we can't wait to go and see the children as they paint. But I'm going to put a few of the activities that he does to do with children on screen so that you can appreciate what he does with regard to children. That is him. That's his studio. He's opened it up to children of all ages to join in. And we'll be seeing them live painting, because I could hear in the background a lot of kids just painting or making noise, actually. Felix Kunadu, thank you so much for your comment. Felix says, beautiful painting. Felix, thank you for your comment right there. And Graciela Blackstone also says that, have you used styles typical from the educational perspective And when did your personal style come forth in your career in art? So that's a question for Kwame. And Graciela, thank you for asking this question. As soon as he's back on screen, we'll be throwing him this question just to make sure we understand when his style did change. Great. And then Graciela also says that, right, let's see. So Graciela invited Mr. Reginald Fraser to join us all the way from North Carolina. He's also an accomplished artist. Oh, thank you, Reginald. And we'll be linking up off stage as well. I'd like to connect with like-minded artists as well. So thank you, Reginald. And then there are a few more comments coming in from all over the world. Now, Gabriel Insia, who's watching us on YouTube and is from Maryland, USA, says that he loves these symbols for batik. And I showed it earlier. And what he was talking about is the Adinkra symbols. Now, that's another picture of the children, you know, painting. Isn't it joyful to see children exploring creativity? The one on the left-hand side shows them by the beach. Oh, how cool. How cool. So I'll be asking Kwame when he comes back, you know, where his studio is and how he engages the children to let them bring out their full potential. And I think one of the ways that we can do that is paint by the sea. I mean, how cool is that? You know, very next to this nature by the sea, you can unearth all your creativity in that sense. It's amazing. And on the right-hand side, I can see SDG 16. So I'll be asking him a question on the SDG. Whether, you know, the United Nations SDGs, the goals, whether he partook in one of these as well. And then at the bottom, you've got further children painting on there. Right, so hope you've enjoyed the program so far. We're still waiting for Kwame to join us, but when he joins us, I'll ask him a few questions to do with the paintings that I showed you on screen. And then straight away, we'll jump to his studio to see how the children are doing. And I'll try and even interview some of the kids, just try to find out where their mindset is with regards to creativity. We'll also be talking about creativity, the curriculum for creativity in Ghana as compared to that in the UK and other parts of the world. During my research, I found out that, you know, in the UK, for instance, they've specifically set aside people who research into when creativity should be taught at schools, when these children should be taught different things to enhance their creativity when we grow up. Because, beloveds, you know, we in Africa tend to neglect that side, and we don't invest a lot of money into the area of creativity. And in the long run, it affects us because creativity is not just painting. Creativity encompasses everything to do with how you do things, how you actually create material into this world. So you can be at the office, for instance, and the process at which you do something can be done creatively. And I encourage that it's done creatively. So let's say you always, as an engineer, and I'm an engineer, mechanical engineer by profession. If, let's say, you want to create a shape like this palette knife over here, and at all times you waste a lot of time creating this front bit, you can creatively ask yourself a question. How best can I produce this, let's say, in the shortest possible time with the best material that gives it strength, so that when I bend it like that, it will not break? This, you know, allows you to go into critical thinking. It allows you to go into creative thinking. So without encouraging creativity from a very young age, the products that we bring out into the market will be substandard, for instance. So creativity is not just you picking up your paint or your brush to put something on canvas, but it encompasses how you think. Our thinking process has to change to help us be able to create properly. We need to imagine. That is where our imaginative faculty also comes in. Imagine things as we want them to be. When you talk about the Wright brothers, those are the ones that invented the aeroplane. They spent a lot of time, two brothers, thinking, drawing up what they could see in their mind's eye. And then eventually they actually manufactured it physically. They failed several times, they kept at it. And eventually you and I fly in aeroplanes, traveling all around the world and enjoying good scenery. It's because someone sat down and thought. Not only think, but they took action as well. So I encourage our African brothers, I encourage myself, I encourage everyone to think creatively. You don't have to be an artist before you start thinking creatively. If you are a doctor, think of how you can actually have operations or your services rendered in a very positive manner, in a very creative way, so that you can save your patients, coming up with the least injuries to them, so that your patients can recover quickly. If you are a lawyer, employ creative ways of, let's say, debating your subject, arguing your case out. If you are a farmer, how can you rear your crops or your animal husbandry to ensure that the best comes out? Study your soil. What type of crop do I grow here to get the best yield? Go into biofertilizers. Think about creative ways where your fertilizers will not be made out of chemicals, but your fertilizers would be bio, in a sense that you'd have natural elements to it to help your soil be the best that it can be, so that when you plant your seed, they have a hamper harvest. So these are the ways that we can creatively think. At the moment, I work with a company that manufactures drones, for instance. How can we employ these drones in our society to help with our security? I know this is an art show, but without engaging our brains to think creatively, our societies will suffer because we are not engaging the creative and critical sides of our brains. So that is why I come here every week, to bring someone on board for us to listen to, someone who is engaging their brain in the creative sector, so that it can be applied in all spheres of life. That is the purpose of this program. Let me try and get Kwame once again, and let's go and see the children create. There's a comment here which I'd like us to just pick up on and read. That's a comment from Nijata. Nijata says, "Nice one there, bro." Nijata, thank you so much. And Kumasi Nyame also says that your paintings are so beautiful. Thank you, Kumasi Nyame. It takes a lot of effort to get there, but once you get into it, it flows beautifully. Felix Kunedi says, "Beautiful art, Felix." So let's try and go and get Kwame back on screen so that we can get this program going. I did a bit of a rant there, but I had to, because our people forget that it is creativity that is shaping the world. All the tall rising buildings that you see in the Western world, all the beautiful roads, all the bridges, everything was conceived in the mind. Once you conceive it, you draw it down, illustrate it on paper, so that visually you can see what you want to achieve, and then you start manufacturing what you've drawn down. It comes from creativity. In my area of engineering that I do 3D modeling. So everything that I want to design, to manufacture, I design it on a computer, and then I take it to the manufacturer. If it's aluminium, they bend it into aluminium and shape the thing as to what I want to see physically. You know, this speaker that I'm using, the Blue Ball speaker, somebody had to think about it and decide that, oh, it has to be round in shape. It all comes from creative thinking. So let's develop our minds. Let's develop our thinking capacity. Let's develop our creative instincts. Let's not just waste away. Let us engage it. Let us find new ways of doing things, because as the years go by, technology becomes cheaper. We have access to information. Back in the days, our parents didn't have a lot of access to information as we have now. I remember those days when I was growing up in Ghana. There's a town called Takwa in the western region. I had to travel about 3 miles before I could reach the library to study. And I did that on a daily basis, because back in those days, my dad woke up, drove to work quite quickly in the morning, and came back in the evening. So if I wanted to go to the library, I was about 13 years old, I had to walk 3 miles to reach the library, 3 miles back. And I did that with no pain, but I wanted to access information. These days, you just pick up your phone and you've got a whole library over here. You've got access to books that, we couldn't get back in the days. So let's make use of these. Let's encourage our children to get into the creative industries. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's make sure that, they get into sports if they want to get into sports. Let's let them be the artists that they want to be. Let them get into creative, the fields, so that the whole country will benefit from it. And I'll urge the government of Ghana, because I'm Ghanaian, to push more money into the creative industry if we really want to see a benefit. I remember 2019 when we had the year of return. Look at everybody that came to Ghana. What did they come to see? They connected with their ancestors, but they also went to the tourist sites to see what we had as Ghanaians, to enjoy the creative side of us, our clothing, our artistry, everything that we had to offer to the world. They came to Ghana to see. So if we don't pump some money into that industry and then engage the artists to partake in national development, then the whole nation suffers. The government at present wants to make Accra the most beautiful city in West Africa. What does it take to have something, to make something beautiful? It takes the skills of an artist to come in to actually visualize how it can be, and then instruct architects, instruct artists, instruct all these creative people to bring it into fruition. This is where we can see the beauty. So that is why at the Akwa interchange, for instance, when we had my friend artists going there to do their graffiti, doing their painting, the wall painting, the whole city just became bright. And my good old friend photographer Yao Pari took some beautiful pictures of Accra that we've never seen before. And one of these days, I'll be bringing Yao Pari on this show to just show the brilliant photographs that he takes. No, Ghana is a beautiful place. Ghana is such a beautiful place, but it's up to you and me to get involved to make it that beautiful, whereby we don't leave dirt all over the place. We don't leave dirt in the gutters, but we pick up all these dirt. We make sure that the city is as clean as it can potentially be. That is my message about creativity. It goes beyond just artwork on a canvas. It's a state of mind. It is a state of mind. When you change your mindset into the thinking mindset of critical thinking that is meant to do, then you are able to come up with new products. You're not going to just rely on Western products, but you will be able to invent yourself. You will be able to look at your environment, look at what you've got, and use what you've got to create what you want. Let's do that. Let's do that, shall we? And I know we can. Right, let's go back to Kwame and let's listen and bond with the children. Let me call him one more time. In the meantime, have a look at his work. That's one more painting that he's done. Actually, this one is a charcoal drawing. Beautiful. Right, let's try and get Kwame. Right, so I couldn't get through to Kwame. So what I'm going to do is just go through a few of the paintings, talk about what Kwame does in industry, appeal to yourself to support Kwame. And if he doesn't join before the program ends, then we're going to end it and bring him on next week so that we go straight to speaking to the kids. So Graciela from Maryland says that Ghana is very beautiful, but the people are even more beautiful. Thank you, Graciela. The people are more beautiful. I want us to be even more beautiful and affect our surroundings, Graciela. I want us to be able to affect the surroundings in which we live in. And that comes with making sure that our surroundings are very clean. are very, very clean. So Kwame was not able to join us. I think he's trying frantically to get the internet to work for him, but I'm going to just call up the program, sort out the internet, and if he comes back on, yes, I'll come back live so that we see the children, because we don't want to disappoint the children. I think they took some time off trying to prepare for this program, and I could hear them in the background when I called earlier, them trying to paint to impress us. So, you know, kids, if they do a painting and you don't show it to the world, hey, they would not be impressed at all. So I'm going to try and get him, but as soon as we get him, we're going to see the children. Khadija says it takes positive vision to use the arts in community-based settings and to beautify cities. Politicians are not often focused that way. That is very true, my friend Khadija. Politicians are not that way oriented, but yet for scoring political points, sometimes they come and give us promises that they are going to beautify our cities. But it takes money and it takes creative people to make this happen. So it's up to us artists as well to engage our politicians, to make sure that we let them know the importance of beauty, the importance of the creative industry. When you travel around the world, let's take it, I think we went to Rome in 2019, early part February 2019. The whole city is beautiful. You've got sculptures everywhere. We went to the Vatican. I mean, I couldn't help it. I wanted to even sleep there. Artworks in every corner. Michelangelo, you've got all the beautiful artists. Artworks splashed all over the place. Every single corner, you will find a beautiful sculpture. That is appreciation of art. And it makes the city beautiful. That attracts investors to come in. That attracts tourists to come in. I mean, the UK, for instance, I mean, every single summer, you have the Chinese trooping into the country, not to do business or anything, but just to see what London is all about, just to see what UK is all about. Because when you take the UK, it's got its own queer character. The architecture has got its own character. So what I'm saying is that government should engage artists, and artists should be welcomed when they try to engage government. In so doing, we will work together for the beauty of the nation. And Africa will be what it's meant to be, because we've got so much culture, we've got so much stories to tell. But if we do not engage each other, we will not be able to achieve it. So, right, let me see. There we go. So thank you all for joining. If Kwame comes back, I'll come back live. But for now, I've shown what I need to show, and I'll try and get Kwame so that we show you what the children are up to. So watch out on my page. I'll make an announcement that probably I'm coming back in the next 20 minutes or so, or 10 minutes or so, depending on when we get through to Kwame. And then I'll show you what the children are up to. But thank you so much for now, and God bless you. Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.